This is Dan Tamarkin. Tamarkin is not like any other Leica store. It is history, Chicago's history. A family project created by love to Leica. But how did this all come to exist? Luckily, I have the right person to ask.
Good to see you.
This store is a history piece of Chicago. How did it get to where it is?
Well, we started in the house that I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, and our first store was in New Haven. And then we moved to New York as well. So we had stores in both New Haven and New York, which are about an hour or so apart. And then when my father went to retire in 2010, he said, what do you think about taking over the family business? And of course, I've been in love with Leica my whole life. I grew up around it. And so I was thrilled. And my dad said to me, I'm going to play golf, kiddo. You make sure the checks land on my desk every month and we'll be fine. And so I bought the company and moved it here to Chicago in 2012. And so we've been Chicago's Leica store since 2012.
So currently there's no other Leica store in Chicago?
Right.
How was the store received in Chicago, and how did you gain your clientele?
A lot of what we've done historically has been mail order, and we've been in business for more than half of the time that Leica has been producing cameras, so people know us. When we moved to Chicago, people loved it because we're a Leica specialist. There are other Leica dealerships in Chicago, Central Camera and a couple of other places handled Leica, but nobody was dedicated to it. So when we opened our showroom, the city went nuts.
Okay, Dan, show me around.
So welcome in. So in the main case is used Leica. Almost everything in the case is used.
Yes.
Except for the binoculars in the lower right. Those are actually brand new. The other thing that's brand new in here is the underwater housing.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah, this thing is bonkers.
This is new?
This one is our sample, so it has Tamarkin Camera's name on it.
Of course it does, yeah.
But this is,
oh my gosh.
We are the only place in the Western Hemisphere, as far as I know, that sells these. And so we have them available. We've got Leica M. It's a little bit of a mixture, some digital, mostly film. And then film and digital M lenses, all on the top, because the M stuff is really some of the most popular stuff, as you know. And then we've got a couple of special editions, used T, Q, SL. We have more, we just could only fit so much in the case.
Which lenses does the TL?
That is the 18 to 56. That's
what mount is it?
Oh, that's L mount, actually. It's the same as the SL. Yeah. It's the same as the SL. It's an APS-C. It's super slick camera. And so you can see.
So you have new stuff also, right?
We also have a lot of new stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of new stuff.
But this that we have right here is all used?
This is all used.
Okay, what else do we have used?
Yep.
That one right there?
Yes. So in the case are items that were either in our last auction and are now available, or items that are waiting for the next auction. Some of them are from my collection and they're owned by Tamarkin Camera, and some of them are on consignment. Also,
M9.
Dude, that might be the last brand new M9 available in the world.
Oh, it's new?
It's brand new. And brand new.
You heard that.
Right? You heard it here. And in 2017, I had the sensor changed by Leica to the non-corroding Leica sensor.
They did change all those sensors. There was a recall, right?
Yes, there was kind of a recall. And what they did was they wanted the cover glass of the sensor to be so very thin, but they made it too thin. And so there was corrosion on some of the sensors. So brand new M9, a couple of old vintage little pieces, a medium format camera, a like new M4, and then stuff from the auction on the top. These are wartime. This one is Second World War, and then the other two down there, Second World War.
So what is this?
This is my favorite case. So this is all stuff.
Is this your stuff?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
And in here is a whole bunch of original stuff. And so from top to bottom, we've got from the 1920s or early 30s, these old film boxes. That's an original advertisement for the Leica M3. This is just a variety of cameras that I thought was really interesting. For example, this one, number 445566.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was kind of cool. Also, I like to be able to show people what the cameras look like without the leather cladding.
Uh-huh. So you're not selling any of this?
No, I think that for the most part, people are not really interested in these weird little cameras.
Other than Kevin?
Other than Kevin, right. Actually, the screw mount's not really his style, but we're gonna get him there. That lens still has a mark from the technician that made it.
Kind of scared of that.
This little mark here, I've never seen, that mark looks a lot to me like a Leica technician's mark. I've never seen it on another lens. And so I decided that, well, this camera needs a lens, so they would go together.
Nice.
And then also, I like to be able to show people what the inside of the viewfinder looks like. So this is what makes the frame lines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so in your Leica camera, all of the frame lines are actually on all the time. And
but they're reversed, right?
But they're, yeah.
So
Yep.
You see them, it looks like it's darker on the...
Exactly. Because what happens is the light comes into the rangefinder and a mask, this little mask is the thing that shows you the correct frame lines.
Oh, interesting.
And so all of the frame lines are active all the time.
They just hide them.
They just hide the ones that are not being used by the lens that you have on the camera. And so I'm crazy about red boxes and all this Leica ephemera. And also, one of the reasons that we have a camera, a disassembled camera, is so that you can see how the whole thing works.
That's super cool. How different is your Leica store from the Leica stores that now Leica is opening all over the US?
That's a great question. We're different in a few different ways. One of them is that we are completely independent. And while we love Leica and we do the kinds of things that Leica wants us to do, which is showing the cameras and selling the cameras and creating community, we're a lot more nimble than the larger company. And so when you come into our showroom, you will see new Leica, but you'll also see a lot of used Leica, and you'll see a lot of vintage Leica. And you'll see ephemera, different signs, displays, literature, all kinds of different stuff, as well as my collection. And that's in part because I'm a rabid Leica collector. I'm just crazy about Leica. I'm also a Leica shooter, so I use the M camera as well. And it's a little bit different experience because we really want to have a conversation about your photography and what kind of stuff you do, what kind of lenses you use, why you're shopping, what you're shopping for. And that's not to say that Leica stores don't. They do, and they give excellent service as well. We are a little bit different in that we offer a ton of used gear and we offer a ton of historical context.
How was the transition between when your father was the owner of the store to when you got it? What has changed and what has remained the same?
Another terrific question. When my father started the company, and most of the time that he did business, it was telephone, it was in person, fax, telex, if you remember those. Mm-hmm. So there was no internet. And a lot of what would happen is people would just meet like we are now and talk about Leica. And on our dining room table, I remember, would be a lot of cameras. And my father would have people over at the house and they would trade cameras and they would talk about cameras. And then as my father went to retire, more and more internet activity was happening. And now we have, obviously we have Google, we've got all this incredibly powerful information at our fingertips. That was not around. At least it wasn't around from your phone, from the internet. You had to talk to people. You had to call people on the phone. And so that's how we did business back in the day. And now, while we still have a showroom and we love seeing people, please come visit, a lot of business gets done either over email or over the internet. A lot of people ask us why we don't have a shopping cart on our website, and that's because we want to have a conversation. We want to get to know our clientele. And if somebody's just clicking on a thing on a website, we've never met them,
Right.
you know? And I mean, that's okay, but we want to know our clientele, and we want to know what the market is doing and what people want, what people like, what they don't want, what they don't like. And we find that the internet leaves us a little cold. It leaves us better informed very often, but it leaves us a little cold. You can't get a smile off of email. You can't get a firm handshake and a look in the eye, you know? It's just a completely different thing. But there are some things, and it's a terrific question, there are some things that have remained the same. The service, the product, the expertise. It's just different how it gets delivered these days.
What do you have here?
So this is my collection.
All of it is yours?
All of this is mine.
Jesus, why do you need so many of these? This is crazy. Look at that. How many M3s do you have, and why?
All right, so here's the M3 story. It's funny that you should.
This is crazy.
It's funny that you should look right at that because this happened by accident. Okay, the Leica M3.
I don't know about that.
I know. Yeah, my fiance is suspicious of that too. This happened by accident. The Leica M3 started at serial number 700,000. Okay, so these cameras are number 701, 702, 703, 704, 705, 706, 707. I'm missing.
It doesn't seem like an accident to me. It seems like they made them in order, and you just bought them all.
I just bought them all. Yeah, I'm busted.
So how many? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
And I'm missing one, so I need 708.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
there's one gap right there.
There is one gap
So
right
there's
there.
someone out there we're gonna call out that could sell for $500,000 the one that he's missing.
Easy, easy. So all this stuff, one way or another, came into the store, and I decided that I had to have it. This is my 401k, what you're looking at right here.
Okay.
So we have black paint cameras. This is where the money is right here. So this is a black paint M2, black paint M4s, one of which was owned by the photographer Francesca Woodman when she was at RIT. This is a military camera called the Leica KE7A that was made for the US military, and it's complete.
Ironically made in Canada.
Ironically made in Canada. That's funny. It's true. It says right there it's made in
3 times.
Yeah.
It's Canada, Canada, Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made for the US military.
Yeah. And then there's a few other items that over the years I've just thought were really interesting. This is really a catch and release program because as a collector, there are things that I'm interested in an immediate sense. And then there are things that I really just want to hold for a while. Like the black paint M2. I've owned that for more than 10 years now and it's tripled in value. I'm happy about that. However, not everything has. There's a lot of stuff.
How did you ever use any of this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I put a few rolls through the M2 and those M4s. I put a few rolls.
3 black paint right there.
That's a really weird camera. So that's an M3.
They didn't make that many of them, right?
It's not black paint, it's black chrome.
Oh.
And we can't figure out
How?
how it got to be black chrome.
Do you
'Cause
think it was repainted?
I do. I think it was redone by Leica, but I'm not sure. And so some of the other items that we have in here, I really like these old Leica standards and the Leica Model 1. That's my favorite stuff. So.
Did you shoot them ever or not?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How is the quality?
Terrific.
Yeah.
Like a lot of vintage lenses, the contrast is a little bit lower. It's sharp. They're terrific.
So why did you decide Chicago?
I love this city. I've been living here since 1989. I moved to Chicago to seek my fame and fortune. Still seeking. But I fell in love with the city. I worked in the theater here. I worked as a writer. And when my dad and I had this conversation about taking over the family business, I thought to myself, you know, New York has a lot of Leica dealerships, but Chicago really doesn't have any Leica specialists. And all my friends are here. My whole network is here through my 20s and 30s. And so this is home for me. And it was the perfect location because we didn't have a Leica store, and now we do.
Nice. You have sales, a big portion of used equipment.
Yeah.
You have academy, you have a gallery. How do you manage all that stuff? Because usually in Leica stores, you have different managers for each section of it, especially with the gallery you have. How do you get, for example, let's talk about the gallery. How do you pick your artists?
There's three different ways that we find artists. There's one is Instagram and people that we meet. We also get submissions, and people come in and see the gallery and they're like, wow, this is really fun. I mean, seeing your photos on the wall, whether it's a tiny gallery or a huge gallery, it's a really exciting thing. And so usually when we're talking to people here in the showroom or in the gallery, people will inquire. We look around a little bit and submissions. And so we try to get as many different photographers as we can in the gallery. However, it's a lot of work. And so we typically do about 3 or 4 shows a year. We want to make sure that the artists are on the wall for as long as they can be so that more and more people can see their work. And then as far as classes and community building and academy is concerned, we partner with Leica Camera for academies, in part because they bring terrific photographers who a lot of Leica people know very well. Whereas a lot of the smaller photographers who might just be starting out or not have any real significant notoriety here in Chicago, they need a venue. In our gallery, we have Sam Lozano, and he's got 2 books. He's a local photographer here in Chicago. He shoots film, he shoots digital, he shoots M, he shoots Q. And he's just been a terrific supporter of us. Yeah.
This is the gallery space?
So this is the gallery space. This is the rangefinder gallery at Tamarkin Camera. And it's a mixture of 16 by 20 and 17 by 22. So we have a couple of different sizes. Sam made and matted these prints himself.
Oh, he did?
And so, yeah, he's an excellent printer. And this one, I think he redid a couple of times. It's very difficult to print like this.
Right.
And so it's a mixture of film.
I love the shot.
Me too.
Is it a mixture of film and digital?
Mixture of film and digital. He uses a Leica MP for his film camera, and he uses a Leica Q for digital. And I think he may have a digital M, but I'm not sure.
Oh, Naked Cowgirl.
Naked Cowgirl,
It's
yeah.
a different take from the Naked Cowboy
Right.
from Times Square.
Exactly. And so Sam's done a couple of shows here. I think this is his first solo show, but he's done a couple of other shows here.
I know you've mentioned it's about 3 months, every artist.
Typically, yeah. It's typically about 3 months. That gives more people a chance to actually see the work. And also that means that we only have to do 4 shows a year because it's a lot of work.
How does the show actually works? You pick somebody, and then do you guys have an opening?
Absolutely. I love to throw a party. So we'll get the gallery, everything all set up. We offer 2 different size frames. And artists can put mats or not. They could do really whatever they want. It's their space. And so we have an opening celebration, and we serve good wine, good beer, good food. It's open to the public, as always, open to the public. And usually it's on a Friday night, and then we'll have a closing party as well.
Oh, great.
No reason why not.
Yeah, of course.
The more people that come in and see the art, the better it is.
How do you do with pricing?
Pricing is really up to the artist.
Okay.
What I tell, a lot of artists don't really know how galleries work, and some galleries insist upon a certain price. We sell cameras here, not photographs. We'll sell photographs, but that's not our deal. So typically 60 to 70% goes to the artist, and sometimes more.
What
Just
is,
depends on what it is.
What is, for example, this one that I liked?
These are $125.
They are?
They are.
Oh, incredible.
Just the print, and Sam will sign it for you. Or he'll sign it to you or sign it for you as you wish. Typically, the photographs that we offer here are on the $500 level or so, typically. Sam really wanted to make these very accessible. And so 100, the larger ones, this one's a little bit larger, this is 150, and the other smaller one's 120. Very reasonable.
That's right.
Absolutely.
No, it's great. It's that's how we did an open gallery in Icon.
Yeah.
And I got together a few friends, and we did an exhibition, and we tried and keep the price as low as possible, just for that.
I mean, everybody's got a camera on their phone. Everybody's taking pictures these days, and I think to a large extent, the printing of photographs has become a little bit devalued. And there are fewer and fewer people that are seeing the photography through to its end, which is printing.
That's also the challenge we were having. Because of that, printing has gotten more expensive. So prices in a picture of $150, in this case, because he's printing it, he might get a better deal on it. But if you're not printing it yourself, $125 might be what you're paying for the picture.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we have very good printers here in Chicago. Print Lab in particular is an excellent printer, but it kind of starts at $75 or so. I mean, it's expensive. Yeah. And so we tell the artists, once they've been accepted into the gallery, we say, these are the frame sizes we have. You're welcome to use them. This is how many photographs we can hang if they're either portrait or landscape, depending on the orientation. And the gallery is really theirs to do whatever they want with, for the most part. I mean, we're about supporting the artist, and so this is all about Sam. I have no ego about it, no strong feelings, other than things look crisp.
Right.
And so we try to mix it up a little bit between Academy artists and local artists, but that's one of the ways, the Academy is one of the ways that we partner directly with Leica, and we just love doing it because it builds a terrific community here in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. What was the latest workshop or Academy event that you've done?
Let's see, I think the last one that we did that was connected with Leica was Eating with Your Eyes with Jim Sullivan, and that was last year at about this time. And then coming up, we have Leica Palooza, which is our weekend celebration, summer celebration of all things Leica.
Sounds fun.
And so yeah, we got Bill Brown coming, and it's gonna be fun.
Great.
Fun. So we got Academy, which is on the good graces of Leica. We love working with the Academy. We sell new Leica, we sell used Leica, we sell vintage Leica. I'm a licensed auctioneer in the state of Illinois, and I love holding auctions. But it's not so easy to find collectible Leica, and so we do one auction a year. And it's fun, it's open to the public, it's broadcast around the world. We have clients all around the world, and I tell a little story about every item that comes across the auction block. And then we do some service here as well. It's very hard to find quality service for Leica cameras, and so we do offer that. However, it takes a long time for service to occur, and most people don't want to be without their cameras. So we try to offer that as much and as quickly as we can. But that's actually one of the biggest challenges that we have in the world of used Leica at this time, are people to work on the cameras who really know what they're doing. I mean, I can clean a lens, I can adjust a shutter and a rangefinder, but I don't know what I'm doing as well and with deep, deep, deep knowledge of the engineering of the Leica. I like talking to people and telling stories and taking pictures. I'm not very good with that very fine, super fine mechanical stuff. So I leave that to the pros.
Nice. We met through Kevin and Charlize, Nocti Girl and Kevin Fick.
And Decrypto, Ficklin. Yep.
Ficklin, yes.
Yep.
How do you meet them?
Wow, I'm just so glad to be connected with you all. So many, it's just the Leica family, and it's just a wonderful thing. Charlize, I had heard of Nocti Girl, watched her videos and all that stuff. And she sent me an email or a message and said, hey, I'm doing this video on Leica rapid winders. Can you help me with some photographs, or can you answer a few questions for me about the history of Leica rapid winders? Because in the past, with the camera, you know, you had to actually wind the film, and it happens pretty quickly, but they made a bunch of devices, like trigger kind of devices that allow you to really rapidly advance the film. And when you come here to visit, I can show you a few of them. But anyway, so Charlize sent me this note and said, hey, can you help me with this video? I need pictures of a couple of things, and I'd like to pick your brain. And we just became fast friends. We just really liked each other right off the bat, share a sense of humor. I really like her photography. And so we started talking, we collaborated on this video. And then we decided that we wanted to make more videos together, which we still need to, which we're still doing, and we still need to do more. And when I met you guys, I was in LA for I think the second time ever. And Charlize and I were making videos. And I said, well, what kind of videos do you want to make? And she said, well, you know, we'll talk about this lens and that lens. And we had all these grand plans. And then she said to me, what kind of videos do you want to make? And I said, well, I got this Elvis wig. I got this Elvis wig.
That's how he was born.
So that's,
explain this, please.
So
explain yourself.
I have an alter ego. And my alter ego is Bosco Arnak. Now, some of you may know that the founder or the creator of the Leica camera, his name was Oscar Barnack.
Right.
The guys that work with me here are very funny, and we're old friends from the theater. And these guys are really hilarious. And we started joking around about Bosco, and we would do scenes from The Godfather all about Leica. And we would sing songs all about Leica and just change the lyrics. And every now and then I would hear from the next office, this is not my Boca King, or they would, you know, they would just be saying whatever, any silly thing about all of these funny Leica words, Summicron, Summilux, bokeh, all the language that we use around photography. And we just started to have a lot of fun with it. And so I said, well, I got to get an Elvis wig, and I have to birth Bosco. Bosco needs to be out there in the world. So Bosco is my alter ego. Incidentally, he hates me. His opinion of me is that I am an absolute charlatan. I'm only trying to sell people things, and that I'm just no fun to be around.
I've seen a few of the videos. I haven't seen the whole thing, but once in a while it pops up in my feed, and I see that, and I was like, this guy's just looking for an excuse to put a wig on. I don't know.
I really am.
What it is, but I'm looking for mine too. So I don't know. We have the same. You always say we have the same barber.
We have the same barber.
So,
I love entertaining. I love telling stories. I love talking to people, man. It's just my favorite thing to do. And so Charlize and I started making these videos, and we kind of couldn't keep it together because we were having such a great time. And we didn't really get around to making any videos for her, which I still feel really bad about. But we made a bunch of videos where I put on the wig, I put on a tuxedo, and I sang Frank Sinatra songs, and I rewrote all of the lyrics. And so these will be
original songs now.
Yeah, now they're original songs, exactly. And so Bosco is trying to get a recording contract, but I don't think anybody will handle him because he's really abrasive. Anyway, if you wind up talking to Bosco, please don't tell him that you talked to me, because he'll never talk to you, and he hates me for whatever reason, I don't know. But he's a funny guy. He's one of these guys where he doesn't really understand, he's gonna kill me for saying this, he doesn't understand what Leica is. He's got no idea. He just loves Leica. And that's the whole idea of Bosco, is that I think he just really wants to be a part of Leica, but he doesn't really understand it.
Sounds good. Let's talk about your signature move. I've seen you defending your signature move as your original move. You have some new competitors.
I do.
When did this start and how?
So I do. This is my signature move, and it's standing on a Leica camera. and I stand on M cameras, screw mount cameras, Q, digital, film, doesn't matter. The Leicas are really, really well made. Back in the day, before the internet, and when people would come into the store and the salesman would come in and would be showing off the latest products, the salesman would stand on a camera. And as a little kid in the back room of the store, I would see this and I blew my mind. And then, you know, I was 80 pounds and I tried it and it worked. And then as an adult, when I got my first Leica, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna stand on this camera. Let's see what happens. And it worked. And so now when people come in and they've never held a Leica or they've never seen me stand on a Leica, I do it all the time.
How do customers get in touch with you, come to the store? I know for now it's an appointment only store. So can you talk to us about that a little bit?
So usually people have either heard of us and are visiting Chicago and they want to stop in and see the Leicas, or they'll email, or they see us on Instagram, or they see some of our advertising. Almost always people call or email and we want to talk to them. And so Google is one of the best tools that we use. When people come to Chicago and they're like, oh snap, I forgot my battery, or I need a memory card, or I forgot the charger for my Q. Who sells Leica in Chicago? Ding ding, here we are. Because there are very few places that handle Leica. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of merchants are scared to handle Leica because it's expensive and maybe they don't know a whole lot about it. And so usually people will Google and find us, or we have a big customer base and a lot of people maybe years ago, 20 years ago, called on us and bought an M6. And now they're like, gee, I think I'd like that latest Leica M11. I'm gonna trade in my M6. And they take the M6 box out of the closet where it's been sitting for the last 10 years, and they open it up and our receipt is still in the box. And they give us a call. So, but it's a good question, and it's something that even in today's electronic age where we're all connected and we're all communicating so immediately, it still is a little bit difficult to find these people who don't know about us. Mm-hmm. However, so we want people to know about us. However, on the other hand, we kind of like being small and under the radar, and it's one of these things, if you know, you know.
Quick question. I'm going to ask you about a rumor.
Okay.
There's a rumor that there is going to be an official Leica store in Chicago. How do you see this coexisting with you?
I think that, I don't have any direct knowledge of that, but I do think that it's going to happen, and I would expect it to happen next year. I'm excited about it. I think that the more, the merrier. The experience of going into a Leica store is very grand and it's very exciting. However, a lot of the vintage and historical and secondhand is not represented. The way that I feel about it, and I think that Leica, the people at Leica would probably echo this, there's room for everyone. There really is room for everyone. And it is a slightly different experience going into these places. And not everything is available all the time in the world of Leica. And so for any of you who are watching this who don't know about Leica, they're handmade objects, and not everything is available all the time. And due to that, and our extensive knowledge of the vintage and collectible, we really kind of do different things, even though we all sell the fabulous red dot.
Yeah. So you bring up a good point. When I walk into the Leica store, I see I have the feeling at least there is 85% new stuff, about 15% used, but really no one pays attention to the used part. So actually they're calling it out now as, in their post, they're saying, what do we have in the used department? And they kind of show you a little bit. They are known for their auctions, but honestly, it doesn't happen that often. And I think what you guys offer now, as I walk into the store and I do the walkthrough and all that stuff, is a big percentage of used. What percentage would you think that you have versus new? 2/3,
easily 2/3 of the business that we do here and the inventory that we have, which is enormous, is used. And of that used, 2/3 of all of our inventory is used. Of that 2/3, 10% or so is vintage or collectible. And so we have Leica, the Leica auction happens twice a year and includes photographs. We actually have a consignment of a lot of exciting photographs, so we're excited to offer some of that. We do one auction a year just because we want it to be huge and grand, and it's really hard to find very collectible stuff.
Mm-hmm. You have a new Leica user in front of you. What do you recommend him? A new camera or a used camera, and in that case, which one?
I am so excited about this. Okay, what I tell people is the most important thing is the lens. Optics make the image. Get the best lens, most recently manufactured, or whatever it is, whatever kind of look you're after. Put the money into the lens and buy it used. There's no reason not to. A used lens can be tested, can be cleaned, can be verified. It's very easy, or relatively easy, to calibrate. Especially digital cameras are a lot more complicated, and really only Leica can work on the interior of digital cameras. Buy your digital camera new if you have any trepidation whatsoever. If it's a digital camera, we recommend buying it new. It's the best of the best of the best. We sell used digital cameras and we vet them thoroughly. I'm a very practical person, and I would want the very best lens I could get, and I wouldn't really care very much about the camera body.
So why do you recommend to buy a new?
Because with digital cameras, they're so sophisticated, it's really hard to know what's going on inside the camera. You get a better warranty. You have Leica behind you. Now with us, you've got me behind you, and of course I work directly with Leica, so really buying new or used from us is really kind of about the same thing. But if you're going in to buy a Leica and a digital Leica is what you want and you can afford it, buy the camera new and buy the lens used.
What about film?
Oh, film, buy it used. No question. Because the technology that goes into these film cameras, even though there's 1,000 moving parts, that technology is more than 100 years old. I mean, this year in 2025, it's the 100th anniversary of the Leica camera, but they had been developing it for some years beforehand. And so that technology is more than 100 years old, and they're gears and springs and pieces of glass. There's no electronics, there's no battery, there's no technology that we don't know about. The stuff that Oscar Barnack invented more than 100 years ago can still be worked on today with the very same tools and the very same knowledge. And so for film cameras, buy used. That said, if you have paid off your home, your kids are through college, and your bills aren't really coming in like they used to, treat yourself. Buy yourself a Leica MP. There's nothing like it. Or a Leica MA. There's nothing like it. And it should be a really super exciting experience to go into the store and handle all the stuff and pick out your Leica and unbox it and have it. It's really exciting. It should be. You know, it is a once in a lifetime thing. And for some people, it's repeatable if they can go back into the store and buy something else. It's fun. Mm-hmm. But that first Leica, it should be a very exciting experience. And I'll tell you what I tell a lot of my customers that come in. 85% of the people that you meet on the street with your Leica around your neck, they have no idea what it is. And they'll be like, look at that guy using that shitty old camera. What a shame. And they have no idea.
Yeah.
But the other 15% are going to come up to you foaming at the mouth wanting to talk about Leica. This is the really wonderful thing about the brand. By and large, but talking about the safety issue and being serious for a moment, talking about the safety issue, by and large, thieves see a thing of value and they see a watch on your wrist and they want to take it. They don't see that it's not a Rolex. They just see something of value. They're not that brand conscious. I mean, a thief is a thief is a thief. I mean, if they're smart, they'll learn something, but
Right.
don't worry about your Leica. It's fine. Some people like to remove the red dot insignia,
Yeah.
or they like cameras that don't have an insignia. Nobody knows what the fuck it is. No, they don't know. But again, for the small portion of the people that do, I know I'm like a pusher, I'm constantly tempting people. But for the small portion of people that do know what they are, it's a conversation piece. And also, here's another thing. And this is a more general photography thing, okay? This is not Leica specific. When you're out there in the world, out on the street, in your hometown, or you're traveling, and you have a camera around your neck, people know what that is. Even young people, old people know what it is. And so when you bring the camera up to your eye, people know that they're gonna have a photograph made. When you have your phone in your hand, nobody knows what you're doing with it. People can't see your screen. And when somebody aims a phone at you, sometimes people are like, oh man, what's going on? Like, am I being documented? Did I just tuck my shirt into my underwear? Like, what's going on here? The camera is safe. People know what it is. And so very often when I'm out shooting in a place that's unfamiliar, or even here in Chicago, I will tie a knot in my camera strap so that my camera rides up close to my face, so that people can see it. And I take off my polarized sunglasses so people can see my eyes. I'm not a scary guy. And I'll go put up my camera and point to the camera and be like, can I take your picture? And almost always they say yes. And you just click, click, click. And I look over the click, 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 click. Thanks, man, you look great. And off you go. And so having camera will travel. You have your camera because it's ready and you can make the pictures. And you have your camera because people know what it is. And they recognize, and it'll start a conversation, especially if it's a Leica.
I'm kind of suspicious that you decided to put this combo of Leica M11P and the Apple 35 in front of my face for this long. Maybe he's not a salesman of words. Maybe he's just a very subtle salesman that puts a little bit of an upgrade of what you have right in front of you for about an hour, just so you start paying attention. Yeah. This is.
I thought I saw that lens wink at you, actually.
Yeah, it did. I'm scared of it.
Well, you can shoot it a little bit during your visit if you like, and see if it's right for you.
Oh,
that's
man.
the beautiful thing, and that's one of the real joys that I get in this terrific career that I'm so lucky to have, is putting the stuff in front of people. Not because I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm gonna make a sale, I'm gonna get rich. People don't get rich in this business. I'm here to tell you that right now, okay? Just like photographers, it's very hard to get rich. You gotta work your ass off, you know? But to see people go, oh man, I've never seen one of those in the flesh. Or they put it on their camera, they take a picture and they're like, wow, I love it. Because for me, I grew up around this stuff. And so I know what a 35 Summilux from 1968 does. And I know what a Summilux does from 1970. And I know the difference, but it's very difficult for people, especially if they're starting out in Leica, or if they're in a place that doesn't have a Leica store, either a corporate store or a place like Tamarkin, where they can see and touch and feel all this kind of stuff. It's really super important. Even if it wasn't as expensive as it is, it's super important. And I mean, there's nothing like a Leica. You gotta feel it. I mean, the people at Leica will tell you the same thing. If you talk to Dr. Kaufman or Stefan Daniel or any of the people at Leica, Leica's about three things. The best optics on the planet, and of course we all know that optics make the image. German engineering, you know? So you best optics in the world, fine German engineering, and the emotion of it. There's nothing like the feel of a Leica.